Welcome to a Monday edition of On the Pen Live. I am your host, Dave Knapp, man on the Manjaro. That's why I'm here. You, my friends, are on the pen. Wegovy, Saxenda, Victoza, Trulicity, Manjaro, Zepbound, Compound. That pen, that's what we talk about each and every week and most days here at On the Pen. Welcome. If you're just joining me, drop an N in the chat. If you're new, I'd love to welcome you by name. If you're an OG, drop an OG in the chat. It's always good to hear from each and every one of you. And we've been doing a lot more of these live streams when we can. We try to go live at 11 Central Time or noon Eastern. Anissa, Heather, welcome. Spoonie, Calamity Jane, good morning. Christy, Lady Sherlock, NY is new. Welcome. Abby, good to see you. So thank you all for being here. It is good to be with you. We've got some breaking news today in the world of, the cost of the vials. And we've got some breaking news in the world of TikTok. As you can see, we've got our account back. And so you can see the ticker behind me is back up to just under 58,000. And that's kind of where 57,800 is where we left off. So we picked up some new followers over on TikTok. You can follow our main account there or our backup account. Main account is onthepen.official. That's onthepen.official, or the backup account is at OTPHQ. Or you can follow us on Instagram. At On the Pen Official over there. So we would love to have you there. I want to get into the news from Eli Lilly today. The news specifically on the lowering of the cost of Zepbound Vials, because I've seen reported in major news outlets today that this was just a lowering of the introductory doses, and that is actually not true. And so I want to get into the timeline and how this all works. To clear anything up. But before we do, would you hit that like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe button. The bell on YouTube makes sure that you get notifications when we go live. And a lot of people are like, I wish I would have known you went live. There's two great ways to know when we go live. One is to hit the bell on YouTube. The second is we've been sending out email notifications through our Substack email newsletter. So if you go to obesity.news, that's going to be one of the best ways that you can keep up on when we go live. In addition to just the news that's going on throughout the day, we've already dropped an article on this Zepbound news today. So I'm going to just get into that news, and then we'll take your questions. So as you have questions, drop them into the chat with a Q in front of it. If you put 3 Qs, that's even better. I'm flying solo today, trying to keep up with this all on my own. So Eli Lilly updated the Zepbound self-pay journey program, which is what they're calling the cash pay vial. And that is that they lowered the cost of all doses starting today. Now, the good news is you can actually get these vials through Lilly Direct. You don't need to go to an intermediary. You can actually go to your primary care doctor, and they can prescribe it through Lilly Direct. I think that's the number one question that I've gotten in response to the email update that we did on Substack today was, how do I have my doctor write this? Well, all they have to do is simply send in a prescription to Lilly Direct. Now, you can fill that either through their mail order channel, which is what some people prefer, but now they've also partnered with Walmart pharmacies to be able to have you fill your prescription there at the Walmart pharmacy. And so those are the options there. Of course, we have a partner, Shed. You can go to our link tree at otplinks.com. That's otplinks.com, and you can find out more about how to get the Zepbound vials through there if you prefer to go through a telehealth platform. So a lot of ways to get it. But let's get into the pricing, because this is where I saw some fake news from the mainstream news today. It's all doses have been lowered. The 2.5 milligram dose is going from $349 to $299, so a $50 price reduction. The largest price reduction actually that we see comes in the 5 milligram dose. Now, something that we were talking about here at On the Pen when this news broke and they had the press conference in the Oval Office and yada, yada, yada. was, will the prices be tiered? And so it looks like we're getting a little bit of that. We wanted to ask this question of Lilly, didn't get the chance to. They've been unresponsive to me in my in the questions that I've had for them. Again, I'm never pharma-y enough for the pharmaceutical people. I'm never compoundy enough for the compound people. We're just trying to bring you the news from the patient perspective and help you to have more competent and confident conversations with your doctor. That's what we're trying to do here. But the biggest reduction in price actually comes at the 5 milligram dose. And I want to get into why this is like low key a bigger deal than maybe some people think that it is. That's going from $499 to $399. So a $100 reduction in the price of the 5 milligram dose of Zepbound. Now, the rest of the doses, if we're talking about the 7.5 to the 15, so the upper doses, now 5 milligrams is a therapeutic dose, but if we're talking about the upper doses, there's a $50 reduction in those, going from $499 to $449. Now, right now, this is just for the vials. We do know that Lilly is currently in talks with the FDA to get the adjustable quick pens, similar to what they have for Mounjaro overseas, the adjustable quick pens, and those would then go on to the cash pay program as well. Now, I would imagine that the prices will follow what we're seeing for the vials, but at that time, we're also expecting that the 45-day refill would go away as well. The requirement to refill the medicine within 45 days. I don't see anything when I checked the Zepbound website this morning. The Zepbound website did not give me any inkling that they had removed the 45-day requirement yet. But we did hear from Lilly that once the adjustable pens come, that will be removed, and that's a big deal because obviously if you don't refill these medications within 45 days, given what we have for the most current information, and they didn't update this in their press release today, it sounds like, the price goes up pretty significantly. I can't remember what it is, but you're up to, you might as well run it through your insurance, even if they don't pay, and use the savings card at that point. So $299 for the 2.5 milligram, $399 for the 5 milligram, and then $449 for the 7.5 through the 15 milligram. That's the single dose vials, and the the multi-use quick pen auto injectors will be forthcoming in the next few months, probably around April of next year. Now, let's compare and contrast that to Wegovy. Right now, we know that the introductory offer that they're running is $199 for the 0.25 milligram and the 0.5 milligram, respectively. Not a whole lot of weight loss at those levels, right? And to get up to the meaningful weight loss levels, you're going to pay $349. So let me talk about for a second why the 5 milligram dose of tirzepatide coming down to $399 is a big deal. That's $50 more than you're going to pay for 2.4 Wegovy. First of all, one of the things that I've been talking about here over the last couple of weeks, actually about the last month, is that I had made this concocted this brilliant plan to switch to Wegovy from Mounjaro. There are multiple reasons, right? The first reason is that I'm going out on my own now. I'm responsible for my own insurance, so I'm going through the marketplace. Mounjaro isn't covered by any of the plans that I could find in my area. And so I thought, we are going to get 7.2 milligrams of Wegovy coming soon, and the comps on weight loss for 7.2 milligrams are up there with 15 milligrams of tirzepatide. So I thought, I'm going to start back on the 2.4 milligrams of Wegovy, switching to 15 milligrams of Mounjaro. And just see how that goes, and then hopefully bump up to the 7.2. Let me tell you, in that month, which was basically the entire month because I went off of it for about 12 days before I took the first Wegovy injection. The Wegovy was a little bit delayed in getting here through the NovoCare pharmacy, whatever. I ended up taking that 2.4 milligram dose. I'm telling you, by about day 15 of not having a Mounjaro shot, it's not even food noise. The hunger signals that my body was giving me was like almost animalistic. I've never been more hungry in my life. Maybe I would maybe compare it to after a really vigorous workout. You know, you really get after it, you lift a lot of weights, and then your body is literally just starving for food. That is how I felt steady on for that entire week. And the weight on the scale has moved from 265. Now that was at my lowest, and I had kind of like a little whoosh a couple days where it went down from like 269 to 265. You know, your weight sometimes does that. But I am all the way back up to 277. And so out of sheer panic, I switched back last week to Mounjaro, and I will not be doing that experiment again. Now, again, I'm type 2 diabetic. It's a little bit different for me than it's going to be for other people. And so I just wanted to give you my experience and let you know that it was somewhat terrifying making that switch. Now, I've switched from Mounjaro to Ozempic before, and I don't remember anything like that. I know I gained weight in that time, but you know, the reality is in that month, there's no way that I gained 12 pounds of fat. The inflammation, it is the return of inflammation, I think that's the primary driver. I mean, when I think about how many calories I had to consume, I'm not like really a calorie tracker, but I know I've been dieting for 20 years. I built this entire thing called On the Pen. I'm an entrepreneur. Let's just give me the benefit of the doubt that I'm not an idiot. And I know dieting after 20 years of doing it, I could pretty much tell you what's in a meal, caloric wise, and even down to the macronutrients just staring at a plate. I know that I wasn't in a calorie surplus enough to gain 12 pounds in a month. I will say that it was very challenging not to overeat, especially you had the holiday baked in there as well. But I'm telling you, the hunger, the inflammation all came back in a way that maybe I just was less in tune with it last time that I made this switch. But I'm telling you, when we look at the 2.4 milligram dose of Wegovy, it's probably more comparable to like the 5 milligram dose of Zepbound. When you look at the 5 milligram dose of Zepbound in the Surmount trial, there was about I can't remember exactly what the weight loss was, but it's right up there with the 2.4 milligram dose of Wegovy, even though the trials weren't super comparable. So those upper doses are elite compared to anything offered at Wegovy's in Wegovy's arsenal right now. And so if you're looking to switch, that's my own personal experience with it. I think you may be disappointed, but one of the things that I wanted to share with you in terms of why I think the dropping of the price of the 5 milligram dose of Zepbound is a huge deal. Listen, when I talk to people in the industry, when I talk to telehealth providers, when I talk to even pharma people, doctors that prescribe these medications, one of the things that I think compounding has done is it's given patients a personalized approach. And so doctors prescribing the compounded versions are a little bit more inclined to go at the pace that the patient is comfortable with rather than following clinical trials, where in my experience in talking to doctors, they typically like to follow the trend of the clinical trial. So they like to dose escalate every month. It seems to me with the compounded versions, patients do that less. And perhaps some of that is because for a long time, the compounds were priced in tiers where you had to pay more the higher in the doses that you went. That's less the case now than it was, a year and a half ago. But what patients realized, and what many patients on the compounds have realized, is they don't have to go up in dose to continue to lose weight. And so there are a tremendous amount of people, I wouldn't venture to put a number in percentages, but there are a lot of people who do camp out on the 2.5 and the 5 milligram dose of tirzepatide and achieve meaningful weight loss and achieve their goals that way without ever having to titrate up maybe to the higher doses that are a little bit more expensive. So I think that that's going to be a big deal for a lot of people, perhaps not folks that are tuned in and dialed into the clinical trials like we are and dialed into the community. But I think there's a great number of people more than you would understand, which maybe helps give some context to this. So I feel like this is going to be a big deal for a lot of people, but there again are a lot of people who look at it and go, I'm on the 15 milligram. I'm going to need that for maintenance, or I'm going to need the 10. It doesn't really do much in terms of moving the needle. Two things I would say. One is I hope that we'll continue to see insurance expand access as the cost of these have come down. I know that a lot of plans have removed them for the next year. I think we're going to see movement on formularies throughout the year, throughout the next 12 months, and I think we are going to see broader access as the cost comes down on these medications. I think we're also seeing a bit of a pricing war between Novo and Lilly develop. You may see Novo move all their doses to that $199 dose, that $199 a month price point. Because ultimately, I think that they've been toying around with that and testing it in the market for like a year now. And so I think that we have a distinct possibility that Novo acknowledges that and they go for volume and they try to lower the price of Wegovy. So I'm hopeful that happens. If it does, they may be able to successfully recapture some of the market share from Lilly. Maybe Lilly comes down a little bit, but we've got some other molecules right around the corner in 2026 that could bring some interest, cannibalize some of the patients in terms of, going from Zepbound to orforglipron or oral Wegovy for maintenance. So I do like this. I think that, one of the things I said at the beginning of 2025 that I took so much crap from so many people for was I said, I am bullish on accessibility in 2025. I think these drugs are going to be cheaper, and I think they're going to have, we're going to have more access to them by the end of the year. This was at the time when the Trump administration was dropping the Biden administration's plans on Medicare. And I just said, hold on, I'm bullish on this because of all the signals that I was seeing in the industry, and I took a lot of crap for it. But here we are, and access is expanding. Now, does this price change move the needle enough to get people to move off of their branded Zepbound on or from their compounded versions of tirzepatide onto the branded versions of Zepbound? We ran a little poll this morning over on the YouTube channel. If you're not following on the YouTube channel, please hit otplinks.com, click on YouTube and subscribe over there. But we've got a little poll going, not a huge sample size quite yet, about 16 votes. But the question was this: if you're on compound tirzepatide, and you can put your answer in the comments of this video if you'd like, just to share your 10 cents. But if you're on compound tirzepatide and today's cash pay Zepbound price changes enough to get you to switch to branded? If you answer no, comment what the price would be to get you to switch. And so we've got 88% saying that no, this is not enough to quote unquote move the needle. That I stole that from somebody in the comments. I think that was pretty clever. The price drops that we saw today from Lilly are not enough to move the needle to get them off of compound. That's 88% are saying no. And of the comments, we're seeing between $200 and $300 as the going number that people tend to seem to be agreeing on. Between $200 and $300 would be the price that it would have to go to in order to get people to move off of the compounded version onto the branded medication. And not that really matters too much, whether you're using compounded or using branded, but I think this is ultimately the goal of Eli Lilly, to get some of that market share back from the compounds, which they have been unable to meaningfully throttle and choke off from a competition standpoint. And so between $200 and $300 seems to be what people are saying. And as I see things come through the comments here, both on TikTok and on YouTube and on LinkedIn, it seems to be like $200 is that $200 to $300 seems to be that number. And so what we're seeing, I think, is really positive in terms of the reduction of the cost of these. Is it enough today to move the needle for most people? No, but it is relief. I mean, $50 is $50. You think of it this way. For somebody who is month to month or week to week on their paycheck, however you get paid, It's Christmas season. It's holiday time. That's one more present under the tree because you had to spend $50 less on your medication this month. So it's something. It's not everything, but it's something, and it's moving in the right direction. A question from Debbie over on YouTube. Thank you, Debbie, for your loyal following, all your comments, all your support of my channel is noted and greatly appreciated. Debbie wants to know any info on the savings card. Lots of people are asking. Yeah, I think it's a really great question. I have posed this question to Eli Lilly. Again, I've heard nothing. I've heard crickets back from Eli Lilly on this. I would be shocked for them to not have some sort of savings card for the insurance, for those who are covered with insurance. I would be very shocked to see that. That said, because ultimately this is just how drug companies work to get their drugs in the hands of people who don't have great coverage, is to offer that. And you think about it, like they'd rather take, your $200 or $300 and cover the rest of it, on their own, rather than you not being a customer at all, because we know that they're, not spending a lot of money to manufacture these drugs. So that's how this has historically worked. That said, with all of the cash pay options that have been provided, it is plausible that there would be or could be a meaningful change to the savings card in 2026. I would be shocked to find that there would be no savings card. I will be shocked if there are not meaningful changes to that card as well. So we'll have to see what those are. And Eli Lilly, we know, listens to this podcast, listens to the content that we make. Like, we would love to hear from you on your thoughts about what's going on with the savings card. I've reached out a couple times in the last couple weeks on this topic because I know that this is something that people want to know in the community. So thank you for the question, Debbie. Really, really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Sooners for Life is on a clinical trial for aleniglipron from Structure Therapeutics, an oral GLP-1. That's amazing. That one does not ring a bell with me, so that doesn't seem like something I've covered. Looks like we got a super chat from Nancy Henry over on YouTube. Thank you for that. Good morning, Samantha, Linda. I see you all in the chat. Do we think that Compound will come down to hold the customer base? I don't know that they really have to. I mean, the compound pharmacies and more broadly the telehealth companies that are prescribing them are all really, relying on social media to drive traffic to their website in terms of selling compounds, so to speak. I don't see that changing because I don't think the broader public is really educated on this topic very much, which is all the more reason to continue to share the work that we do here so people can make more competent and confident decisions with their doctor. Do you think they will wait until December 31st? No, the changes, thank you for the super chat over on YouTube. These changes, according to Lilly, are available today, and actually heard from our friends at Roe who said that these prices are live on their website as well. So I do know that these prices are good today. And I know I may have mentioned this earlier on in the stream. You can actually get these Zepbound vials by having your primary care doctor prescribe it. You can actually pick it up at Walmart now. That's new. That is new. I want to take a moment and thank our partners over at Shed. Shed is the headline sponsor of our podcast here. Shed is a wonderful partner, and they allow us to do this full time. And so I am eternally grateful for their belief in what we're doing here. If you're interested in the compounded versions or the branded versions, you can get both through Shed at tryshed.com. You can use the code OTP25 to save 25%. Let them know that we sent you there. They've got a whole host of offerings there. They'll connect you with a provider. They'll connect you with coaching for obesity care. There's also things for hair loss and all sorts of things there. So check them out at tryshed.com or go to our links in our link tree that can be found at otplinks.com. And that is a great place to it's the gateway to all of the things that we offer here at On the Pen. in terms of exclusive savings. And thank you for the super chat over on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Dave, are these intro prices first 2 months, then it moves up? I saw a good RX PR said this type of pricing structure ends on April 1st with Ozempic and Wegovy. They usually are in lockstep with one another. Thanks for the question, Sean. I appreciate it. On the Wegovy side of things, the price structure that they have right now is they have a $199 intro offer for the first 2 months of the 0.25 and the 0.5 milligram only. So if you're just starting Wegovy for the first time, there is an intro offer of $199 to try semaglutide in the form of Wegovy. You're correct in stating that is an intro offer. However, the Zepbound Vial offers is a new price change that is a fixed price change. I don't know whether or not those numbers will be tinkered with as they bring to market the cash pay version of their auto injector, the KwikPen, which should be coming here in the next couple of months. We anticipate that will be approved by the FDA within the coming months here. We know that's with the FDA right now. So appreciate that here. We got another super chat from Henry regarding the December 1st savings card. Do you anticipate a last minute announcement regarding its continuation or discontinuation? No, I don't think it'll be last minute. I do think if they had this completely ironed out and ready to go, that I would have at least received some word for the community from Lilly that there's something coming. It's very bizarre to not hear anything from them unless they've just blacklisted me, which is perfectly plausible. Again, we're not compoundy enough for the compounders. We're not pharma-y enough for the pharmaceutical companies. At the end of the day, we're just advocating for broader access, patient access, and for you to have more competent and confident conversations with your doctor. Of course, that includes understanding the landscape of what your savings cards will be, and we know that is a huge and important piece of your care for you. And so we know that the longer that pharmaceutical companies drag their feet, we know the bigger deal that is for you as patients. So we definitely call on Eli Lilly, like share the love on that. Patients need to know so that patients can make decisions about their care in the coming year. And so I would imagine with all this most favored nation stuff, typically what we would see is we would have seen an announcement on this before December. Typically, I think towards the middle end of November, maybe early December. So I would anticipate we should hear within the coming week on that. I don't think they're going to drag it out until December 31st, but I do think that it's a special circumstance given the fact that we have had all this movement on the cash pay price in the most favored nations, and all these talks have been ongoing. They probably needed to make some adjustments based upon where those negotiations all landed. So that is where we're at currently, and I will certainly give you more information as we have it. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the bell for notifications, and make sure that you follow along. If you're watching over on TikTok and you follow here, see that right there over on TikTok or over here on YouTube. If you follow on the Pen Official on TikTok, we'll send that ticker going up. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate you all hanging out with me. We've been live here for about 30 minutes. Wanted to just thank you all for your support, your love, your generosity towards me, especially as we dealt with the banning of our account on TikTok last week. We did get it back. Thank God. It's a good feeling to have our community back over there. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you follow us everywhere you can. The gateway to everything we do is otplinks.com, where you can find our sponsors. You can find resources about the savings cards. You can find so many tools and resources at otplinks.com. I strongly encourage you to check out the link tree. But until next time, I really appreciate you hanging out with me. Thank you for being the best part of what we do. And we'll have more to come on my own personal journey. I'll probably do a special video about that. This change from from Mounjaro to Wegovy back to Mounjaro, and how I'm going to handle all this stuff with the marketplace, right? This is sort of untreaded territory for me. I know that it's a big, and audacious thing that we're doing here, going out on our own, and I just want to thank you all for your support. So thank you for being here, and we'll check you on the next one.